Hi everyone, welcome back to another video with me here at the Aspiring Home Cook. Today we're going to look at making kale chips. Using one bunch of kale, I'm actually going to whip up two different types. One, a basic salt and pepper kale variety, and the next one's going to be a slightly more spicy version. They're both absolutely delicious. So let's have a look at how to make a batch of these kale chips. First thing you're going to do is strip the stalk off of your leaves of kale. So I just pull apart the leafy bits, just like so. And you want pieces about that size. Anything that's overly large, you can then break down into smaller chip size pieces. Now you want to make sure that your pieces are more or less the same size so that they all cook through at the same pace. And you're going to do this with the entire bunch of kale or however much you're using today. You can now discard those tough stems and wash the leaves thoroughly and dry them up completely. You're going to start by preheating your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Let's start with mixing the seasoning. Now we're going to do all of the mixing on the same tray that we're going to bake the chips in. I just spritz a little bit of oil on my baking tray just to prevent the chips from sticking. The first type of chips we're going to make today is the plain salt and pepper kale chips. So I'm going to use half that quantity of leaves that I just cleaned and prepped, place them on the tray, and over this I'm going to drizzle about half to 3/4 of a tablespoon of olive oil. Sprinkle some freshly cracked black pepper over this. You can use as much as you'd like or as little as you'd like, and sprinkle over some salt to taste. Now using clean hands, simply massage all of that into the leaves like I'm doing here. What you're trying to do is get the seasoning and the oil into all those nooks and crannies on these leaves. So give it a really good mix. Now if you feel that you've got less oil in there to coat all the leaves, you can drizzle a tiny bit more at this stage and continue with massaging that into the leaves. Once the leaves are coated, spread them out in a single layer over your baking pan. Now this is extremely important if you want to get nice crispy kale chips. Place them side by side and not overlapping. Now for the next type of kale chips, we're going to make an Indian style chatpata version, which is a slightly tangy and a tiny bit spicy. Again, you're going to prep another baking tray by spraying a little oil over it and greasing the tray. I'm going to plop my kale leaves that I've prepped earlier onto the tray. This is the other half bunch. Now, to make the seasoning, we're going to mix the ingredients in a little bowl. So into a bowl goes about a tablespoon of olive oil. You're going to put in some salt to taste. I've used about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to put in about 1/2 teaspoon of Kashmiri chili powder. This is a very mild chili powder, so it doesn't give you too much heat. It just gives it a nice mild heat, and 1/2 teaspoon of chaat masala. Now this chaat masala is a seasoning blend that is used in a lot of Indian recipes, mostly chaat or snack recipes. This has a bunch of ingredients in, including dried mango powder. So this is what will give your seasoning a nice punchy, somewhat tangy flavor too. And you're going to stir all those things really well. And you're going to drizzle this seasoned oil over your kale leaves. And like we did before, with clean hands, we're going to massage that seasoning into the leaves, making sure that it gets into all those nooks and crannies and coats all those leaves really well. At this point, that seasoned oil will not look like too much and you may feel that it's not going to be enough, but eventually once you're done rubbing it into the leaves, they'll have just the right amount of seasoning on it. Once all the leaves are coated, you're going to spread them out in a single layer on your baking tray. And once that's done, you're going to place it in your preheated oven for 10 to 15 minutes. Looking for the edges of the leaves to start turning a tiny bit brown, but for the leaves to still be vibrant and green. Watch them closely because they can burn very easily. Once they're done, this is what they look like. Now have a look at how crunchy they are. Just pressing between my fingers, they actually fall down to a crumb. They do shrink up a whole lot, but they're absolutely sensational to eat. You can eat a whole bunch of these without the guilt of eating regular potato chips. So when those potato chip cravings hit, if you've got some kale or keep some kale on hand, whip up a batch of these and you can easily go through a batch without any guilt. Kale is supposed to be really good and healthy for you, and this is a great way to include some in your diet. Even if you don't really enjoy kale too much, these kale chips will change your mind. These were the plain salt and pepper kale chips. And out comes my second batch of chaat masala and chili powder seasoned chips. Equally crunchy, like you can see here, and absolutely delicious. You're going to gently scoop the leaves out of that pan and into your serving bowl and sit back and enjoy a beautiful bowl of kale chips. So there you go, guys. We've in a jiffy prepared two different types of kale chips today. Both of them turn out super crunchy and really delicious. Your basic salt and pepper version is an all-time favorite, and the Indian chaat masala and chili powder blend is a little different, but if you enjoy nice Indian flavors, this one's sure to hit the spot. So I hope you enjoyed today's recipe. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Give the recipe a try and let me know what you think of it. Don't forget to share this video with family and friends that you think will enjoy it as well. As always, I'll leave a link to the complete recipe in the description box below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and click that little bell icon for notifications. That way you get alerts every time a new video gets posted. Thank you so much for watching today, guys. I'm going to see you really soon with another delicious recipe.